Hi guys, and welcome to the fifth part of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. Now I am currently doing a warrior playthrough of the game, and I just reached the pinnacle of the armourer skill. I've got my master armour rating, I am 100, and I can now make dragon armour. And you can imagine my disappointment to find out that dragon armour is slightly worse than Daedric armour, which I could have made at 90 skill. Now, it's true, Daedric armour requires a Daedra heart, whereas dragon armour doesn't, but dragon armour requires dragon scales and dragon bones. So, for me, I feel dragon armour should be the best armour you can make. And luckily, there is a mod that does just that. So this mod tweaks the stats so it's just slightly better than Daedric armour. As you can see, it's slightly better, about 10% better than, say, Blades armour. And I think this is perfectly appropriate and not overpowered. But the mod does more than that as well. It actually adds the ability to make dragon bone weapons, which is very cool. Very cool idea indeed. It uses the same meshes as the Daedric weapons and just different skins, and they look very appropriate and very, very cool. They've got very good stats. If you compare the Dragonbone Greatsword to the Sky Steel Greatsword, you can see there is a noticeable improvement. It's not a ridiculous improvement, but it is quite powerful. So be aware of that. If you're going to use these, you're going to hit things very hard. And that's it. You've now got the ability to have really great dragon bone equipment, weapons and armour, and it be pretty much the pinnacle of your armour. Now, you may also be interested in another mod by the same mod author that actually lets you craft a lot more. It allows you to craft a lot of sets of armour that you couldn't. It also allows you to upgrade and improve some weapons and armour that you couldn't improve as well. And just in general gives you a lot more options for crafting your perfect armour set or getting that specific look that you want. Now, I would have preferred it if some of these recipes had been things you gained through a quest or found, etc. But that's really difficult to do at the moment because we don't have a creation kit. But it's a small limitation and I can definitely live with it. So if you're actually playing a character that does a lot of smithing, this is a mod for you. Whether you use light armor or heavy armor, this mod gives you so many more options. Now, installing these mods could not be easier. The mod author has packed them correctly and made them available to be downloaded with the manager. So if you go to the More Craftables page, you literally download the one main file, More Craftables 1.8, click here and it will start downloading in your download manager. There are some optional files, use them if you want. The Dragonbone weapons, again, he's packed all the files perfectly. You click here to download the main file, Dragonbone weapons, and there are some options. For example, there's an optional file to remove the diamond requirement from the Dragonbone weapon. Click download with manager on this one as well. And once they've downloaded, open your mod manager and go along to More Craftables and activate it. The same for the Dragonbone weapons 1.4, activate it. Now, if you wanted to use the no diamond requirements, you should be aware of one small issue. The mod is still flagged as version 1.3, even though it actually is 1.4. What this optional file does is overwrite the main one. You still need the main one, but you also activate this. However, because it's flagged as 1.3, it will tell you a different version is available. It's not. It's a mistake. Click no if you get that message. He may have fixed it by the time you watch this video, but if not, click no. However, here, where it asks to overwrite files, it's asking to overwrite the Dragonbone weapon ESP, click yes to all. Almost always in these cases, when asked to overwrite, you're going to click yes to all. And that's it. Those two mods are installed. If you go along to your plugins, you'll notice More Craftables and Dragonbone weapons. ESPs. They can stay there for now. The load order is not really important at this point. We'll cover that in another video. Now, because I get a lot of questions in the comments and in private messages, I've decided at the end of each of these videos to do a sort of quick news and updates if anything's changed or if some questions have popped up rather a lot. This time is obviously going to be quite a few because I've got 4 videos posted before this one and there's been a lot of questions and quite a lot of things to update. Now, in my first video, I covered Nexus Mod Manager, and that is obviously a beta product, and it had a lot of problems the first couple of weeks, but they've been fixing the problems as fast as they can, and it seems pretty stable now. Some people have noticed that you can't just click the download with manager button and get mods, and basically most of that is actually due to the mod author, not the Nexus Mod Manager itself. Some mod authors are packing their files in a way that works well with the mod manager, and some are not, and they quite often forget to flag their files. So for example, the Dragonbone weapons that I shown in this video, he has packed them very, very well. They work perfectly with the download with manager. Some other mods don't work that well, and it's really up to the mod author to change that so that they do work, or at the very least remove that green button. Although I am happy to announce that mod authors are improving. If you remember in that first video I showed Lockpick Pro as an example of a mod you could not install with the download manager. And since then, that mod author has adjusted it, and you now can, in fact, use the mod manager exactly as you're supposed to. Just press the download with manager button. So as you can see, things are changing and they are improving. Now, in the second video, I covered a few things, and one of the things was interface hard-coded key tweaks, which was a great mod that fixed some problems where when you were in menus, it wouldn't remember the keys you'd bound, so you had to use the default ones, which was very annoying. However, this mod is no longer necessary since patch 1.2 because Bethesda finally figured out what they were doing and got that fixed. In Part 3, I was covering performance, and one of the things I suggested trying was the windowed mode. Now, that gave me quite a massive frame rate improvement. However, I've recently tried an NVIDIA card. I've switched to the 580 GTX, and I noticed absolutely no improvement with windowed mode. The game's still more stable in windowed mode. I have no crashes in windowed mode, and I get one crash every hour or so if I'm not in windowed mode, but no frame rate improvement. Now, one thing I can tell you is that ATI had problems with their crossfire, and people were finding if you disabled crossfire on your ATI card, you got actually better performance with just one GPU. And I can tell you that one of the things that playing the game in windowed mode did for me was disable crossfire by default. And so it's very possible the reason I was getting such a performance boost is due to the fact that crossfire was being turned off. ATI apparently are working on this problem, so hopefully crossfire users, you will get a fix for that fairly soon. I am actually very curious as to people's experience with this, so if you guys could in the comments section tell me if you got a performance boost from using windowed mode, and if so, are you using ATI or NVIDIA, and are you using a single GPU card or a double GPU card, or Crossfire or SLI? I'm curious to see if there's any connection between those people who are getting a performance boost. And in part 4, I covered a couple of mods that gave visual enhancements. For example, enhanced shaders and the FXAA injector. Now, I said in that video you had to pick one and they didn't work together. And hours later, one of the mod authors posted a new version of his mod that allowed them both to work together. So you can now use the FXAA post-process injector and Skyrim enhanced shaders together. And I will actually show you how to do that just in case. Now, I suggest downloading the newest versions of both of these mods, and Again, be careful with the FXAA post-process injector. There is a button to download with Manager for these files. Don't. Download manually. You have to install these manually. So I would use the installer. That's what I use. Skyrim Enhanced Shaders is currently up to version 1.4, and he's actually added improved nights, darker nights, which is very interesting, and I'm going to be trying that out for the first time. So download that, the latest version of this. So we're going to start off, open up your game folder. That's the folder where you find the tesv.exe. So just have that open. The first mod I suggest you install is the post-process injector. I suggest you do that first. Simply pick the preset that you want. For me, I like preset 2. Next, make sure the path is correct. It should be. And that's been installed. Then go along to the d3d9.dll file. Now the important step here is to look for the d3d9.dll and rename it. Rename it to something like d3d9_i for injector. Just do that. Don't run the game yet. Now we're going to install the enhanced shaders. So I'll open up that zip file and just go along to the Skyrim install files. And again, the data folder contains the sun glare if you wish to use that. See the previous video if you want to know how to set that up, or how I suggest you do it. And then copy the other files, the loose files, just copy those into here. So then find the enb series.ini and edit that. At the top, you'll see under proxy, you'll see enable proxy library. Change the 0 to a 1. Where it says init proxy functions equals 0, change the 0 to a 1. And where it says proxy library, you're going to type in the name of the file you just renamed. So I'm going to copy that and place it there. d3d9_i.dll. Then save. And that's it. You have now got the FXAA post-process injector and the enhanced shaders installed. So let's go and see what they look like in game. And here we are in game. And as you can see, shaders and the post-processor. Let's get away from that noisy priest. Actually, that is very nice looking. And you can now turn both of them off in game, so I'll turn off the FXAA post-process. And now I'll turn off the enhanced shaders. Both back on. Oh, they work just fine together now.
Come to chat.
Best of both worlds. My performance is still pretty good, although that might be my new Nvidia card. The enhanced shaders definitely work better with my Nvidia card than my ATI card. Okay, let's turn the post-processor off. And let's turn the enhanced shaders off. That's vanilla. With the FXAA post-processor and the enhanced shaders. Very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed. Now let's see what it's like in the dark, because of course the enhanced shaders has got slightly better nights apparently. Let's check them out. It's one of my major gripes about Skyrim and most of the Bethesda games is that the nights are way too bright for me. I like them to be dark and scary. Well, that's looking hopeful. Oh, good grief.
It's no fun getting pushed around all the time.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is a lot better.
My mother was a strong woman. She's the one who instructed me on my
Now
sword.
that looks like a nighttime.
Can you imagine?
Trouble?
You can see around the torches, it's bright, but elsewhere, very dark. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry to be enthusiastic, but I'm in love with this mod now. And I'm playing on high settings, not ultra at the moment, high settings, but I'm also using fraps to record video, which always halves my frame rate. So, and I'm getting 50 frames a second now with both mods running. So you can definitely give both of these a try now. And that's it for this video. I realised there was slightly more news than mod talk, but obviously we had a lot to talk about this time. Usually it should only be very quick updates if something has changed. But let me know what you think. Tell me if you think this is a good idea. Leave comments below. Remember, click the like button if you enjoyed the video. And until next time, have fun.